Welcome to this session titled, What are common SQL Azure usage scenarios? My name is Ola Ekdahl and I'm with IT Mentors. Before we start looking at some common usage scenarios, I just wanted to highlight some of the core capabilities of SQL Azure. And the three things that I wanted to discuss quickly is the fact that it's self-managed, that it provides elastic scale, and that it provides for developer agility. So if we look at the concept of being self-managed, well, what that means is that it's very easy to provision and deploy because all the infrastructure is already in place for us. If I need a new database, then whatever I need on the back end to create that new database already exists. We also get a number of features such as high availability and also the fact that it's fault tolerant out of the box. Again, we do not need to manage that. With scale, some of the things that I wanted to point out is that we only pay for what we use. We need more resources, we pay for that. We need to scale back, well, we pay less because we use less resources. And the fact that it's also using and relies on business-ready service-level agreements. And lastly, a few things about developer agility. If I have developers that are currently using SQL Server on-premise, then they can use existing developer skills, familiar T-SQL syntax, and familiar practices when they start developing for SQL Azure. So let's dive into a couple of common usage scenarios for SQL Azure. Starting off with Cloud Hub Data Collaboration. What that means is that SQL Azure is going to allow me to extend trapped data that typically exists only behind the firewall to other partners and customers outside of that firewall. It's also going to allow me to reach new devices and applications, and also instead of having a number of organizational silos, we can have one common place for data in the cloud that can be accessed everywhere. The second thing is the ability to scale out enterprise applications. What that means is that we can efficiently utilize resources for predictable business patterns. We can very quickly roll out extra capacity, and we can make sure that new solutions can scale without any additional investment in hardware. When we're working with departmental solutions, this is something that often requires to very rapidly create new SQL Server instances. And what happens a lot of times is that we get a lot of these little tiny database instances that live all over and across our organization. So with SQL Azure, we can much more easily manage that, and we can also much more easily provision and create these new databases as necessary and also scale as necessary for these departmental applications. If we are providing software as a service, one of the key features of SQL Azure is that it has an ability to deploy across different geographic regions, meaning that if I have customers in Asia, I can make sure that I deploy my SQL Azure databases in Asia, as well as making it available for my customers in Europe and North America, just to give you a couple of examples. And the plumbing, the infrastructure for taking care of such things as replication is already in place. I do not need to manage that myself. And lastly, we can also use this for business intelligence applications. We can use this to combine data from multiple different data sources, integrate third-party data, and obviously we can also use the built-in reporting services capabilities that is now part of SQL Azure. Besides visiting msdev.com, there's several other ways to get involved with MSDev. You can become a fan on Facebook, you can follow us on Twitter, you can join the LinkedIn community, and you can also subscribe to several YouTube videos on the Real MSDev YouTube channel. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much.